I want to make one thing clear. No one in the world thinks Millie Bobby Brown actually looks 40, okay? That is not what's happening, but I'm going to tell you what is. Number one, we live in a society whose capitalist model largely depends on consumer spending. For example, in the US, it accounts for roughly 70% of GDP. Number two, we also live in a society where global beauty market sales are worth roughly $446 billion. And finally, we live in a patriarchal society that places outsized importance on women's looks and youth in particular. In fact, philosophers like Heather Widdows argue that female beauty has taken on an almost ethical dimension, with beautiful young women portrayed as morally good and ugly old women portrayed as morally repugnant. In such a society, not only is calling a woman ugly the ultimate insult, this society also has a vested economic interest in women being made to feel ugly. Now, when people say Millie looks 40, they're obviously not thinking about GDP and ethics. They're just angrily bashing their keyboards. That is very weak. But what I've just described are the underlying mechanisms that motivate us to use this sort of rhetoric against women that make us feel envious or intimidated. Now, in her brilliant clapback video, Millie Bobby Brown name-dropped, rightly so, several journalists that are contributing to this narrative. And many people were quick to point out that, look, it's mainly women tearing her down, not men. So I hope this video helps you see how the patriarchy and capitalism give rise to this sort of rhetoric, this sort of hatred, which then sadly is perpetuated by many women who internalize it. As always, I would love to hear your thoughts on the argument, not the coffee. The coffee's trash.